All of the Nightmare Critters have officially been announced, and we get to have a good insight into what the entire Nightmare Critters gang is like. Now, if you don't know what the Nightmare Critters are, they've been announced in relation to Poppy Playtime Chapter 4, being
What
the
exactly
exact
do you guys
opposites
do?
of Smiling Critters. So in this video, you're going to see me go through each of the Nightmare Critters in the order they released, just to give my thoughts on how I feel about them overall, and to make it fun, I'll give them ratings too. I do want to clarify that I am doing this for fun and also just to give my thoughts in general on the whole nightmare critter thing. These are just my opinions, so don't let that influence how you might feel about them yourself. Always make sure to form your own opinions about these kinds of things. Anyways, let's get right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So the first one of the bunch that we really got introduced to, even before we knew Nightmare Critters— oh, there goes a bottle— even knew Nightmare Critters were a thing, was Baba Chops. The black sheep of the bunch, Baba prefers to keep her space, like a lot of space. Too much space. She can be distant, quiet, low energy, and it usually requires a lot of coaxing to get her out of the house. Luckily for her, she has some very persistent friends. She usually perks up after a while, but the next day, we're right back to the same tune. She also does smell like anise. Is that what that word is? I don't know. What is anise? What is a anise smell? What does that smell like? But I do feel like her necklace and design here really does reflect her personality in a pretty good way. She does come off as somebody who might be very edgy and gothic-y, and I think her personality probably really reflects that too, from what I read. And while I do wish that they gave her a better pose to help represent her personality more, I think she's cool. So I give Baba Chops an A. The second Nightmare Critter we were introduced to after Baba Chops was Icky Licky. And if you can already tell, Icky is a poison dart tree frog. If I'm even saying the correct species, I don't know. Icky's the type of kid to fall behind in a relay race and immediately pin it on his sore knee, even when that's not the case. He's the very definition of a poor sport. Even though he's naturally talented, he's constantly challenging everyone on absolutely everything, and usually without the outcome he expects. Don't worry, he has an excuse ready. Okay, so Icky is just somebody who's very overconfident and is also just a pretty bad sport when it comes to things, especially when he's losing. It does look like maybe the necklace he's wearing does represent that he's toxic, because I guess that makes sense. He's very toxic when he loses, and he's incredibly overconfident, so I guess that can kind of correlate with his personality in a way, maybe. Or it could just represent that he's poisonous because he is a poison tree dart frog thing. I'm already messing up the names, oh god. He also does smell like coffee as well, which, if I'm gonna be honest, I actually really, really do not like the smell of coffee. I don't know about this one. I feel like Icky's a bit of a lackluster, in my opinion. I do feel as if there could have been maybe more to him. Probably they could have obviously given him a better pose, maybe added some more details to him, perhaps. I don't know. I feel like they could have done a little better with this one, so I'm gonna give Icky here a C. Alright, so the next one we have here is Rabie Baby, and to be honest, I think this design is actually really cute. I just like that the colors kind of match here. I like the combinations of the whites and pinks. I don't know, it's something about her design that I really like. I feel like she probably could have gotten a better name than just Rabie Baby. And I get that she is a bat, and bats are associated a lot with rabies, but still, Rabie Baby couldn't keep a secret if her life depended on it. If there's one thing in the world she loves, it's gossiping, and she's very practiced at it. She has no concept of privacy or boundaries, and if she's in the room, you can bet she's eavesdropping on someone. Don't worry, if she ever runs out of juicy secrets to talk about, she'll just make some up. I'm sure she'd enjoy Twitter. Now, I don't feel like her necklace really represents her gossiper personality. And the thing with the critters is that their necklaces are meant to represent their personalities in some way. And I don't think a drop of blood really represents someone who's a gossiper, at least in my opinion. Maybe it's some form of symbolism that I don't know too much about. I think Rabie Baby is actually pretty good. I don't think she's as good as Baba Chops, but she is definitely better than Icky Licky, at least in my opinion. So with that being said, I'm going to give her a B rating. The next one we have here is Allister Gator, and already, if you can't tell, yes, he is an alligator, or maybe a crocodile. Who knows? I'm not really getting a whole lot from his design here. He is literally just an alligator. So it kind of reminds me of Icky Licky's design almost. And I don't know. Allister's an all-around lazy guy. He's chill, sure, but if he could, he'd spend all day in the water doing pretty much nothing. He isn't a fan of the whole put in effort and see that effort rewarded bit. He's much more of a believer in the philosophy, good things have to come to me, eventually. I just need to wait around for it. He's still waiting. What really gets me about this character is that nothing about him really reflects his personality whatsoever, at least in this bio sheet about him. I mean, sure, I know he's an alligator and he's meant to be a lazy one, but just where's the representation? I don't see a lazy alligator anywhere in this. And he also smells like sandalwood, which is another scent I know nothing about. I don't even know what else to say about him, in all honesty. I just have nothing for this guy. I'm gonna give him a D, because wow, that was not good. We have Simon Smokes up next, and all I have to say about him is just, I love his design. Flat out. Along with his name, Simon Smokes is probably the best name out of all these guys so far. Simon Smoke knows he's cool and popular, and he makes sure nobody ever forgets it. Whether that's showing off for his friends or just bragging about one of his accomplishments, it's always a popularity contest with him. Almost always, he wins. In truth, he's a colossal jerk, but he does have a knack for getting away with being one. I think Simon is my favorite character out of the Nightmare Critters. Like, seriously, he has the best design and representation of his personality. Even his pose shows it well, too, alongside his necklace, which is money. It all just screams arrogant, popular kid, and I love it. I honestly really do. He even does smell like wood smoke, which is, I honestly, I would imagine that that would be something a dragon would smell like. Yeah, Simon gets an S, no doubt. And then there's Poe. Touille is the next one, and it's the rat. The rat from the movie, the rat that cooks. It's literally a rat. Touille is a self-proclaimed trash rodent. When he's not busy eating and collecting garbage, he's a lively conversationalist. He talks a lot, which is made all the more surprising by him having shockingly little to say. If you ever need someone to provide insightful commentary or some random piece of junk, Touille is your guy. Right, so he's pretty much like your average stereotypical rat character you'd likely see on any program or something. I don't know. He collects trash, and he also eats trash, and he also talks a lot but doesn't really say much. But to be honest, I think he's alright. Like, genuinely, I think Touille is pretty okay when it comes to being a character. His design is alright too. The necklace is an accurate representation of his personality. There's nothing really too bad or good I have to say about him. He's literally just a rat, so I'm gonna give him a B tier. Alright, last one we have is Maggie Mako. And you know what? I'm gonna spare the time, and I'm just gonna give you a D tier. I don't wanna, I'm tired. The Nightmare Critters, I feel, are an interesting addition into Chapter 4, especially how well Smiling Critters did when it came to building up Chapter 3 and their involvement with Chapter 3. I don't mind if Mob Entertainment wants to do more of the critter stuff, that is their property, and it's completely up to them if they want to continue doing it. It just feels like a bit of a letdown when you're practically repeating the same building up process for Chapter 4. And don't get me wrong, I think that the Nightmare Critters are an interesting idea. It's only the fact that they're doing this immediately after doing Smiling Critters in the previous chapter, and that's what makes it a little bit meh. Some Nightmare Critters I feel are really good characters, like Baba Chops and Simon Smokes. They have really interesting things to them, but some of the other ones just also feel very bland. They don't have a lot to them compared to what they had with Smiling Critters, not to mention how generic the Nightmare Critters poses are.
Nice job, team.
They also just don't reflect the same vibes or energy like the Smiling Critters do, and that might be intentional, sure, but I feel as if they probably should have done more of how they were presenting these characters if they were wanting to redo the Critters idea instead of, you know, whatever they did here. I'm also not too sure exactly how big of a role the Nightmare Critters are going to play in Chapter 4. From what we know, they're probably not going to have as big a role like the Smiling Critters did in Chapter 3, which I went over a little bit more in my previous video here, but I think they're going to be one of those side antagonists we encounter in the chapter, alongside some other side antagonists as well, that we've yet to know of. I guess we'll find out more once chapter 4 comes around and we get more teasers and information in regards to what they might have in store for us. But yeah, let me know how you feel about the whole Nightmare Critters thing, because I'm not too sure how to feel about it myself. With that being said though, I think that's about it for this video. Thank you guys again for watching. We're so close to 1K subs, so if you're new to this channel and enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing and helping me reach that goal. I would greatly appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.